of Life Talk with Bami, where we have conversations that help you grow into your truest, boldest self. I'm your host, Bami. Today we want to look at a topic that is familiar with everybody. That is self doubt. You know that voice in your head sometimes that tells you you're not ready, you're not qualified. Who do you think you are? Things like that, and that voice whispers quietly in the background. For others, it shouts so loudly that it owns part of you. Here's the basic truth. That inner critic is it always a villain. Sometimes it is just misunderstood part of us that's trying in our own clumsy way to keep us safe. With me today, I have two wonderful guests that will be, you know, yeah. Today, the topic today is breaking through self doubt. I'm sure everybody's familiar with self doubt. Emmanuel and Said. So, Said, you can just introduce yourself. Then Emmanuel, you can introduce yourself. Then from there, we can go into the conversation.
So, hey Bami, thank you for having me. I'm Saeed, I'm 30 years old. Me and Bami, we met at uni and I studied construction project management in
Yeah.
London, and now I'm working for a property developer and I sell houses basically to the international clients and investors.
Yeah. Thank you.
No worries.
Emmanuel.
All right. As for me, my name is Emmanuel, a longtime friend of Bami, I think since 2012 or 2013. Went to university together, been tight ever since. I'm a country AR specialist.
Why don't you mention where they rate you from?
I don't
Why?
even think I'm supposed to be doing that because this is my second time on this podcast, but I just figured it's necessary. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm the in-country AR specialist for the number one logistics firm in the world. So yeah, that's what I do.
Mm,
My 9 to 5.
um. Yeah. So thank you. So first apologize for the video quality because I tried, to make it better, but I don't understand what's going on. But we'll try to keep our content better next time. I'm so sorry. So I want to look at the first segment of today. The
Yeah.
roots of self doubt. So let me start with Said. This Said is new. Yeah. So when do you first? I want to ask, like, when do you first remember feeling self doubt ever in your life?
Well, when you told me about the topic, for me, it's really was about my recent experience when I migrated, and I think it's kind of the same thing with all the young people, because a lot of people all over the world, they want to move from the place that they live and they go somewhere new to experience another country. They study another country, work in another country. But I tell you, when I moved out and I moved to the
Mm,
UK, I lost all of my self-confidence. It reached to a point that I remember for the first year and a half that I was in the UK, I didn't have a friend and I didn't have even one night out, nothing. And it reached to a point, oh, Bami is out again. Oh,
I'm
Bami is
not.
back. Can you hear me, Bami? Can you hear me, Bami?
Well, I don't know what is going on today, honestly. But you
But
can
I think,
continue,
I
actually.
think it's going on well now.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. So yeah, it reached to a point that because it was during the COVID. I remember I went out for the first time after like a year and a half, and
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting in a pub, and I don't know, someone passed by me, and something dropped from his pocket, and I wanted to tell that person that you dropped, I don't know, something. Let's say sunglass. I almost had a panic attack. I'm not even. I'm the confident one. Like one of my skills is that I'm very confident in talking to people. I can do deals. I can talk with all the international people. I can make jokes about every culture. But
Mm-hmm.
same person reached to that point that I lost all of my self-confidence. But go further ahead in the podcast, in your podcast, I will explain what I did in my own experience and how I faced it. And I reached to a point that now I make money by talking to people.
Hmm.
That's nice, actually. I think self doubt is. I don't say it's in your head, because I also had I think self doubt also, like in the sense that when I first finished my high school and I didn't get into university the first year. And back in Nigeria, there's this the admissions process is actually much more, critical than here. So when you stay at home like that, you get to go to these extra lessons, try to take extra classes to cover up so that you don't miss out with your mates that are in school. So I think so. The extra classes I went for, I haven't talked about, like, I haven't learned how to speak in public then. So like there they train you how to presentation, how to speak in public. So you go to the front of the class, you present, you convince people that that basically agree with you on a lot of issues. So yeah, I think the first time I did that also, it was like I'm kind of having a panic attack. Not so yeah, I understand that lead to move over to the next step of having self doubt. Emmanuel,
You.
I want to know, how do you, yeah, I don't want to ask you the same question so that we can expedite the process. I want to know how you differentiate between being humble and actively self sabotaging.
That's a very tough one. You hit me with the toughest question yet.
I mean,
So I really think that a major difference between humility and self-sabotage is one thing. In humility, you know you're capable of much more. I'm at level 2 now,
mm,
but I know I can hit level 5, level 7, level 10. Yeah? But self-sabotage
yeah,
is quite the opposite of self-humility, right? It's never believing you're good enough. You're at a 2, you don't think you can hit a 4, a 6, an 8, a 10. You just feel like you're not good enough. I don't
yeah,
deserve this opportunity. I don't deserve this chance. I don't deserve this gift. Yeah. So I really think
yeah,
that, and we must note, yeah, that it's very very easy to mistake self-sabotage for humility. The lines are very 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 blurred, right? Um, Say for instance, I had this experience recently where someone told me that she wanted to try out for the church choir. Yeah, and
yeah,
she's a pretty great singer, and I feel like I'm a very harsh critic. Yeah, and to me, she was a pretty fantastic singer. And when she begins to hear all of the processes, right, for all the auditioning was not apparently going to be in church, it was going to be at a studio. The church has a studio where you have your microphone dangling from the top, you put your head, it was a big
yeah,
deal, right? So when she sees the setup, and she sees the array of people that she figured she would be competing with for a starting bet in the choir, she now shrinks to
mm-hmm,
say, as a matter of fact, she doesn't think it's something she wants to do again. Maybe she just had too much free time and felt she was looking for a hobby. It's not a big deal. Do you understand? Now,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's a very clear example. You know you want something. You know you're gifted enough for this thing, but for some reason you don't think you can get this thing. You don't think you can reach out and get it. You just feel like, oh, this stage is a little too big for me right now, so I'm just going to take a back seat.
mm,
So I think
yeah.
that pretty much sums up the difference between humility and self-sabotage, man.
Mm. So yeah, like when I was researching this topic, I felt like there are three types of inner critic. So they said there's a perfectionist, there's a pessimistic, uh, there's this imposter syndrome. So I say, which one do you identify with? Let me start with which one do you
Mm,
identify with? Are you the perfectionist?
are you asking me?
Yeah, I want to know which one you identify with. I said when I was researching, there was this like I wanted to move into something like called inner critic, like something that tells you, okay, this is the kind of thing you are, or this kind of person you are. So let's say there's a perfectionist, pessimist, or imposter. So which one do you identify with?
The thing is, I think all these they have a they kind of it's a spectrum. Some of them they kind of
Mm.
blend. There is a point that at the same time you're perfectionist and at the same time you're optimistic. There is a
Yeah.
point that you're at the same time. So you can't say it's one of them. Sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's the three at the same time. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what's important is actually you see self doubt as a sometimes I see self doubt as a positive thing because sometimes it's a defense mechanism. It tells you need maybe more training, maybe you're not ready yet. And if you look at it like this, it wouldn't really
Mm.
affect your self-confidence. But if it affects your self-confidence, then that's a problem because then it affects the work that you're gonna get, then it affects the money that you're gonna earn, then it affects your wife that you're gonna marry, then it affects your friendship that you're gonna have fun. Therefore, I would say it's mix of all of them, and you should and it not in a bad way, not all the time. It just sometimes is a trigger for you.
And so, if you could give your inner critic a personality or a name, what would it be?
I would say I'm optimistic.
Oh,
Remember,
what about
it's
with
a skill.
Manuel?
Yeah,
Are
so
you able to pick that one?
I genuinely think I float between perfectionist and the imposter. I think I don't think, scratch that. I know I'm a perfectionist because it has to be done right from start to finish. I have that problem. I know I'm a perfectionist, right? Now, the reason why I feel like I float between perfectionist and
Yeah, I think I
imposter,
know that too.
the reason you
Mm.
have to, I'll be disappointed if you don't, right? So the reason why I feel like I float between perfectionist and imposter is because I in my head I'm a perfectionist, and whatever I feel like I'm doing or I'm
Mm-hmm.
about to engage in, I need to nail from step one to step five, right? When I fumble or make a
Oh yeah.
mistake along the way, I now fall to imposter, right? Because I'm now thinking maybe I'm not as great at this as I thought I was, right? Or maybe I shouldn't have started this project in the first place. Just because it doesn't, at the end of the day, you know how they say your A, well, I don't know how it is in the UK, I don't know how it is for side, but in Nigeria, your A ranges from 70 to 100%. And anything between your 69 and below falls between your B to F, right? So you would think that using that
It's talking
for
about
this
grades.
analogy, if I'm engaging in a project and I nail 85%, you would think I will be satisfied with that. That's an A, right? But I always aim for 100%. And
Yeah.
like it's a very harsh way to critique yourself. I think it's the most harmful because you don't get to give yourself credit for
Sorry, guys.
what you
Sorry to
think
interrupt.
is. Did you
What
say
is it?
something,
Uh,
What
sir?
is it?
Bobby, can you hear Emmanuel well? Because for me, I cannot hear him well. It's a lot of
No,
the connection is not.
it's talking about the grading system in Nigeria. You understand? So if you can understand, it's talking about the grading system. The grading system in Nigeria, to get an A, you have to have 70% and above.
Uh-huh.
You understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the guy B is 69% from 60 to
Hmm.
69. So that's what it's talking about.
Okay. Because the connection is for me is really good. I can hear him with some gaps, but thanks
No,
for
no, no,
explaining.
I can see your question. That's very good. No, no problem. I thought you couldn't understand what it's talking about.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so Emmanuel, you can continue.
Okay, just to be clear, Bami, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. I can hear you
Okay,
clearly.
so it's Said's connection that's kind of faulty here. Do I have that right?
No, He cannot, not
Let's
that
say
he
I
cannot, he
put,
cannot understand what you're saying.
Ah, right. Okay.
No,
Got you.
when you're speaking about A, B, so I'm not saying about what you're talking about.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
can you not clearly, Said?
I can hear you very well, Bami. It's
Uh,
Emmanuel.
yeah.
It's a bit, for me, it's
Oh,
lagging.
oh, okay. Emmanuel, please just speak louder and let him hear what you're saying. So that
Cool.
You're all right
I'll
then.
be able to.
All right, yeah. So please confirm you can hear me clearly now, please.
Can you hear him clearly?
Said, can you hear me clearly now, or
Said,
the
can you
connection
hear
is
Emmanuel
still?
clearly?
It's better, kind of. It's not better, I think.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So I was saying, yeah, basically that I think I float between being a perfectionist and an imposter. And the reason why I do that is basically because when I'm about to embark on any new thing, a project, a task, or anything, I charge myself to see it through 100%. Yeah. Now, the grading system here in Nigeria, 70% is an A, right? 80% is an A, 90 an A, 100 an A. So on this spectrum, if I charge
Mm.
myself to get something done or to partake in anything, and I score myself a 75% on whatever it is I'm doing, that's an A by my standard, and I should be satisfied, right? But because in my head, my inner voice is a perfectionist, I always feel like I have fallen short of expectation just because it's not at 100%. And so, because of this, I'm bound to feel like an imposter because I feel like, oh, maybe I'm not as capable at this task, or people might feel like I'm not as capable as they thought I was at this assignment, right? So, yeah, that was basically what I was trying to say. I think my inner voice floats between being a perfectionist and an imposter.
Yeah. I think the poster syndrome is actually very real because I think you can remember sometimes you call something cramming. So when you cram, you don't you know try to understand what it is. You just want to pass an exam. So when you cram something and someone say, "Can you please explain this to me?" I say, "I don't know how to explain it. It's just like this."
Exactly, man. Exactly. Studying for survival.
I can't think it's not like because you're not need to pass an exam. You're not need to explain to someone else how to impact knowledge. So when
Right.
someone come and meet you, I say, sorry, please, I saw that you got 79 in this course. Can you just explain this part for me? And they say, no, I don't know. But
Yeah.
so I
Yeah,
think I
man,
used to
that's
have
true.
like kind of feeling sometimes like, yeah, no, that I can't explain. Oh, well, it's just the way it is. It is. So I think the imposter syndrome is actually very, very real for me. Although sometimes I might be a perfectionist, it's not all the time because I'm not perfect. So I don't expect perfection in in every other person. We all make mistakes. We all fall short at some time. So I'm not Emmanuel. Emmanuel is my friend. He expects perfection. I don't know. I don't just know why. Because every time every time we have discussion, you say, why can't you just do like this? But I understand. We are all human beings. Thank you so much. I want to move to this next segment, which I title, the cost of listening to the wrong voice. Saeed, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Um, how has self doubt impacted your relationships or career?
Well, definitely. Definitely. And sometimes your life put you in a path that you are overconfident and you enter something that then you realize, oh, maybe I'm not ready for this. Maybe it's too much. And sometimes it's the other way around. It happened to me as well. I've been in a relationships, for example, or a career that I thought I could do better, but I just stay in it because I wasn't brave enough to quit. But there are ways to do that. There are ways to do that. So let's say in general, there are the things that you can do to improve your self doubt and bring up your self confidence is self love. When you have a
Mm,
self love, when you love yourself, You have an inner peace. You have a better inner peace. And as you mentioned, one of the things that you should consider that no one is perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone, they have their own faults. Even the best person, even the perfect celebrity or a perfect actor or footballer or a sportsman, they have their own mistakes. And you should focus, instead of
Mm.
the bad things or the negative things in you, you should focus on the positive side of yourself. So you should see yourself, for example,
Mm.
Bami, you look at yourself and be like, okay, I have these pros, but I have these cons as well. This is the positive things
Yeah.
about me. So when I'm in a relationship, yeah, I might make these mistakes, but at the same time, I'm offering this. Or when I'm at the job, yeah, I cannot do these tasks, but I'm already doing these tasks that no one else is doing. So considering
Yeah.
that no one is perfect, and you focus on yourself as well, it can actually be very useful. There are other ways as well, but I want to now pass on to you guys, so you explain as well, and then I can go on if you want.
I think for me, in a way, I don't want to say, yeah, I think it's impacted some relationships, especially if you feel like, okay, maybe at a point you feel like, am I deserving of this person deserving of me, does this person, do I have to be in this person's life, all those kind of questions that you ask yourself mid relationships, for the career part, I've never actually had self doubt, because I've always believed in my ability and the ability of God to see me scale through a lot of issues and problems. So I've never really had that kind of, you know, setback when it comes to when it comes to my career. But for the relationship part, yeah, because in a way, you just feel like, I'm this kind of person I always like try to think for the other person. Does this person feel the same way about me? Does this person feel the way I feel towards this? But so it's just a lot of questions that I don't really have the answers to yet. But we're getting better. We're getting better. We're getting better. So, Emmanuel, what about you?
Well, um, relationship wise, I don't think I've ever had a situation where self doubt like cost me a relationship or fucked up a relationship that I have been in. But in terms of career and personal
Mm,
growth, yeah, a lot of times, right? Um, for one, sometime between 2018 and 2020, I stayed at a job for 3 years, just because I was scared to quit. I wasn't sure what's next. I wasn't sure. You know how they say find your purpose in your teens and all that lofty talk that all your career coaches will give you that
yeah,
sounds so simple. Yeah, so it was really tough time for me. I wasn't really sure what I
really.
wanted to do. Yeah, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and it got to the point where I just felt so comfortable in this space. It wasn't the best place for me at the time. I knew I was capable of much more. I knew I could do much more. I just felt I would fail if I attempted to step out of that environment because I had gotten way too comfortable, right? And I had
Mm.
some life lessons were really learned on that job or in those 3 years. I even genuinely still feel like it stunted my progress because I felt if I had moved when my colleagues or my friends were moving, I probably have moved like at a much faster pace. But yeah, we thank God for where we're at right now. But yeah, that's something that still haunts me like till this day. I think it was sometime in between those 3 years. I
Mm.
think it was 2019. I got an internship offer from Microsoft. Someone reached out to me on LinkedIn, and my profile wasn't even all that. It was trash. It's just I had done a lot of projects at the time, and I just kept dumping everything on LinkedIn. Oh, done this, finished this, worked on this. And someone reached out to me from Microsoft Nigeria, and I literally read that message, and I left it there. I didn't acknowledge. I didn't say yeah, open to the opportunity, or I would I just left it there. And it was months after, for some reason, I just went back and she was like, "Oh, we've replaced for this role." You know, there's some opportunities that are just like once in a lifetime, I guess. Yeah. So yeah, and the only reason that why I didn't take that was because
Yeah.
I was just scared that what if I'm not as good as I think I am? What if they think I'm a fraud, or they figure out I'm a fraud, right? But yeah, in the long run, you know you figure out that that
Yeah,
it was
let's like that. If you take on news, because you think that maybe if you say that you can do all this Jira and everything for those that are analysts, because you can use Jira, and then so I use the Jira now. That's a mistake.
yes, and you're now
That's a mistake.
stuck,
That's a
yeah,
why I don't say that I'm very pro.
right, because you already
It's one of
talked a
the, it's
lot.
funny at times. Yeah.
You already talked a lofty game. You feel like you can do this, you can do that, and they set you on a project, and you realize, damn, maybe I'm not as great at this as I thought I was. So all that all that stuff, really really scary stuff. Yeah, but yeah, that I know that that's one experience between 2018 and 2020 that cost me something really great. In terms of personal growth, there are a lot of exams I took quite late that I felt like if I had taken way earlier, maybe when we were fresh out of university or while we we're in university, it would have like pushed me way further than where I was at maybe 2021 or 2022. But I kind of waited till these
Yeah.
exams or these courses or these certifications were pertinent to growing on the job I was at before I took them. Do you understand? Like I waited till it was life or
Mm.
death. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah.
do this, yeah, well like do or jump. And then, so again, just like delay, doubt, and all of that. Do I want to do this? Would I need it? Do I want to do it now? Do I want to do it next year? So I think I've learned some really tough lessons in that time. That if there is anything your gut, so I really think gut feeling is the opposite of self doubt. If your gut feeling tells you this is the right thing, it's the same way your girlfriends would say, I have a gut feeling that you're cheating on me. I have a gut feeling something is not right. Yeah. So I think gut feeling is the opposite of self doubt, right? So if your gut feeling tells you this is the right step,
Mhm.
I think you should just take that leap. That's it, man.
Okay, so when you think back, like the missed opportunity, did it actually cost you emotionally or practically?
Emotionally, I would say more practically than emotionally because, like, it's pretty. So if I say
But it's
practically,
not like something now. I mean, it's not question about it though. Really, a
I
missed opportunity from Microsoft. It's supposed to cost you emotionally now.
yes. So I
It
really
was something
think
about.
that
I mean, eh? Said,
Yeah.
I said, am I right? It should cost emotionally, right? If Microsoft reached out to you and you missed an opportunity, you know something about that.
Yeah, it depends, really. Yeah,
Well,
it definitely costs you, but it's good because it helps you. It helps you to grow, and it helps you to face your mind.
yeah. He's already faced it out, but like when I say like okay, like I don't think there's a practical sense to that because you already missed the opportunity, so there's no going back. Well,
Of course.
you be emotional about it, or you're not emotional about it, Emmanuel.
I at the
Oh,
time I was
I
not
agree.
because I just side go on
No,
side.
no, no.
Let's
You
hear
go
you.
first. You go first. No, sorry, you go first.
All right. So yeah, the reason why I was not emotional about it, or I didn't get the chance to be emotional about it, was simply because when I dunked on the opportunity the first time, initially, I figured I was doing the right thing. Hey, I don't have to work a new job. I don't have to get to meet new colleagues. All my friends still work at this current firm I'm at.
Yeah.
I don't have to learn something new. So I just figured it was the best thing for me at the time. And I guess by the time I wanted to go back to inquire about this opportunity, and I found out that it was gone, it was kind of too late for me to start feeling emotional. I just felt, the reason why I say practical is because I mean it's reality, right? The opportunity came, I dunked on it, and now it's gone. So there's nothing I can do about that. So I moved on. So yeah, I don't really think there was room for me to be
Mm,
emotional.
yeah.
I actually think the emotions would have popped in if maybe I attempted to take the offer and maybe there was some exam or something I needed to do and then I dropped out. Then that would warrant an emotional reaction. But because it was kind of my choice to dunk on it from the
Oh,
jump, yeah, I don't think there was much room for emotion in that case, man.
oh yeah, yeah, that makes that makes sense. Said, do you have anything to talk about?
Yeah, yeah. So as you mentioned, opportunities always happen. But the thing is, when you have a self-doubt, when you have low confidence, when you question yourself more than you have to, you keep losing the opportunities. And it costs you. It costs you your life. It costs you money. It costs you friendships. Um, People with self-doubt, they deserve more. They deserve to get better salaries. They deserve to go to more fun places, but they keep losing them. So it's really important to work on that. It's really important to
Yeah.
work on that.
So how do you know when self doubt is trying to protect you versus holding you back? So how are you now? I'm talking to Said now.
That's a really good question. I think it does that at the same time. It does that at the same time always. It just depends how you look at it and how you want to face it. So let's say you are afraid to join a podcast with Bami. It can be a bit scary. At the same time, it's a new experience. It was a new experience for me, especially like for me, I didn't know who's gonna come, who's gonna ask me what if I say something wrong, what if the internet doesn't work, all this. At the same time, I said, okay, I'm gonna learn. Now I have a checkbox, and this thing has a check. So it's really
Yeah.
important actually. So like I already mentioned one of the solutions. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna say another few solutions.
No, no. Go
Yeah.
on. Really,
Yeah.
go
So
on.
another solution that I found really useful is start socializing and having conversation with different people.
Wow.
In London, I'm sure anywhere in the world, there are groups that you can join for free. There are like events. It can be parties. It can be work spaces. It can be socializing even. It can be speed dating. See it. Don't see it as a fun. See it as a practice. See it as your homework. Just go there. Tell yourself, I have to go to these events once a week and talk to random people that you're probably gonna forget their name. That's fine because you're focusing on yourself. You're focusing on your self confidence. You're focusing on how to introduce yourself. Every time, challenge yourself to be more interesting person rather than being boring to people or find people boring. There are many ways to how to start a conversation. That's another topic. That's probably another episode. But that's really important to learn how to socialize. You see, humankind, they have reached where they are because they've learned how to socialize. Otherwise, we are no different than other animals. We are the same. The other thing that probably helps is facing your doubts, facing your fears. So
Mm.
again, if you have a doubt, if you have a fear, the solution is not to hide from it. The solution is to face it. The solution is to use that fear, use that doubt as a asset. So, for example, this happened to me. I always thought like because English is my third language, is my third language. I always thought, oh, I probably cannot do well because of my language skills. Because all these jobs, everyone gets them because they're local or English is their first language. But eventually, I realized actually the fact that I'm speaking other languages can be useful in a job because I can use it like that, and I start learning from it and I start actually using it instead of hiding it. So you should not hide. I think you should not hide from your fears. There is another solution actually to do that. It's actually a very easy one. Everyone can do it just now without any cost. Is that like when you're by yourself, start recording yourself. Or in your phone, do not show it to anyone, do not share it with anyone. Just start recording yourself and watch that video again, your own video. You can be, I don't know, dancing, you can be talking, you can be giving speeches, you can cooking, and you see the positive things about you, the things that you actually had to fear, but you can actually see how good I'm doing that, even if it's my first time. So
Yeah.
you can introduce yourself, you can, I don't know, rant, you can rap, whatever. You choose the topic. It doesn't cost you anything. And don't show it to anyone, just for yourself. That's a really
Yeah.
important step to do that. And shout out to you that started this podcast. I know it for you, it wasn't easy at the beginning, but you
No, it
started
wasn't
it.
actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. After you talk, I will explain myself. So
Mm. Yeah, you
is
go
that
on.
all? Oh yeah, I said like yeah. Thank you so much, Saeed. I really appreciate it. For me, I think before I started the podcast actually because like you said, record yourself. I wasn't too keen on coming on social media, putting myself out there like that. You understand? But I felt like okay, the thing I could offer could be of value to other people, and other people too could add something to say. People like my guests that come here, so I felt like okay, they could also contribute to whatever it is that I want to dish out to people, and for me to be to have that clarity, I had to leave my comfort zone to travel, just to have a fresh perspective of what I want it to be, how I want the programs to go, how I want the discussions to, you know, to go, the kind of guests I want to have on the podcast and the channel. It took a lot of guts. So like, and I said okay. So when I came back and I said okay, can I just wait another 3 to 4 months to see? And I said somebody just said oh, just start it, just create a page on YouTube, just create everything. So I just did that, created everything, and
Yeah, I think the
so
most
yeah.
important thing that you're teaching people who watch this doesn't matter, it might be your friends or what. The most important thing that you are teaching them, and it's really valuable, is that you're teaching them to start. And it's very
Yeah,
valuable.
just start, like,
Sometimes it's just what
and
it takes.
yeah, I'm so grateful for the kind of guests that come, my friends that actually honor my invitation to come. I know you guys don't have to actually do this. That's what's making me just happy that at least you guys most times you say but I'm shy. I said me too, I'm shy, but you will not be here alone. So someone will be
Yeah.
here with you, and it's been great actually. It's been really great. Thank you so much. So I want to move to the next segment. I talk about from critic to coach. So I wanted to know, like, in the previous segment, we talked about your inner critic, which means either you're being optimistic, pessimist, or you're being an imposter, or you're being a perfectionist. So, so what was the turning point when you decided to stop letting that inner critic lead every aspect of your life? It's easy for you to say, okay, I'm a perfectionist, but, for you to actually take control of who you're being and how you impact people or how you decide that okay, I don't want to feel this way anymore. This is who I am, this is what I can do, and this is what I'm capable of doing. So what is that turning point when you decided to stop letting that inner critic to lead every decision you make? Emmanuel, I think, yeah, Emmanuel should.
Yeah, okay. So I I did mention, yeah, that I was floating between a perfectionist and impostor. But one of the things that has helped me learn to accept, yeah, or be kinder to myself as regards self doubt. Number one is basically the affirmations from people around me. Because I feel like I hold myself to like an
Mm,
extremely high standard. So when I'm actually beating
yeah.
myself up for an 85 or for a 90%, and someone is telling me you did 69%, that's brilliant. We've not had this kind of results in this amount of time. So hearing those positive
Yeah.
reaffirmation has helped me be kinder to myself. I still hold myself to that higher standard, by the way. I don't think you can completely exterminate self-doubt, right? But you can be kinder with the way you manage it. Do you understand? So like those positive affirmations help me realize that, oh, I could have done better, but this is good enough as well. Do you understand?
Mm,
Something else is also like
yeah.
self-help podcasts and self-help books. My Spotify is sprawling with a lot of self-help pods as well, uh, just like this one. So like when you hear people regale people that have been in your shoes or that have worn the exact same shoes or been in the same scenarios you've been in, talk about what it has cost them and how they've
Hmm.
been able to move from that point to some way optimum. It kind of, the reason why your drug addicts do not withdraw in isolation is because, as much as most people do not know this, but problems are solved when you're tackling them with people in the same shoes as you are. It doesn't matter what that problem is. You might be dealing with addiction, it might be procrastination, it can be anything. But when you're dealing with problems in a circle of people who have been in your shoes, who understand exactly what you're going through, your recovery is like 2 3 times faster than what it would be if you were doing it by yourself. Yeah. So it
Yeah.
helps to read books that have
Yeah.
been written by people who beat themselves up for thinking they're not hitting a particular standard. You listen to podcasts from people who have been in your shoes. You have a community of people, so somewhere online, a community, a channel, a channel on Discord, Facebook, anywhere. People who basically just understand exactly what you're dealing with. That can also help you move from a point where self-doubt is an ass kicker to the point where you're now in control. You're able to regulate. Basically, you filter your mind. You understand what I mean?
Thank you. Saeed, so how do you now reframe negative self-talk into something constructive? Instead of pitying yourself, like let me use the word pitying yourself or self-pity. So how do you now reframe? How do you now turn that negative energy of yourself into something constructive, worthwhile that can help you move forward?
Sometimes having that feeling comes from getting the feedbacks or maybe the words from others. So first thing I would suggest
Yeah.
is don't care about others' feedbacks because first of all, others don't know much better than you. They are the same as you. So why would we care about their others? They don't know what's happening there tomorrow. So why we should listen to them? They don't know your background. They don't know what you have in your knowledge. They don't know what you've been going through. Same as you for others. And it's a bit tricky, especially nowadays, because there is a lot of like the whole social media is based on getting a feedback and like based on the likes and comments that you get. But even you should not even use the feedback because let's say, Bami, now you have a podcast and you get feedback from someone else, like the most famous podcaster in the world. Who is it? Joe Rogan. So that
Yeah.
feedback, that feedback has an expiry date. That feedback is probably valid for 3 hours. In the next 3 hours, you
Yeah.
want to do another podcast, you're still asking for the feedback. You have to keep asking for the feedback unless you do
Hmm.
your own thing, wrong or right, and I'm sure you will learn how to do it better than. So I would say, first of all, avoid feedback. Then the other thing is, there are certain skills that you can learn and basically turn the negative thoughts into positive and use them. First of all, I mentioned I'm an optimist person. Optimism is a skill. Optimism means, it doesn't mean that you think everything is great, actually. It actually means that you believe you can improve things. And that's a skill. That's a skill. It takes effort, it takes practice to get to that point. The other thing for me is empathy. Again, empathy means understanding people. So even if they give you feedback or if they ask for the feedback, you can maybe give them better feedback, because then you understand their background, their knowledge and stuff like that. The other thing is ability to learn. So learning is a skill itself. And in this world, everything is changing so fast. So let's say you learn to code with one program. You learn to code with, I don't know, one of JavaScript or something. In few years, that's going to be rubbish. No one else going to use it. So everything going to change really fast. And who's going to be the winner? The winner is person who's actually learning to learn faster than others, not a certain skill, because that skill going to be rubbish in few years or in few months. So learn how to learn. That's really important, to be open to learning. And you should not be afraid of learning as well. And unfortunately, some of the education systems in the world, like for example, maybe we've been through this in the school, when we were in the primary school, they told us, oh, don't do this, don't start. If you're wrong, they grade you, as you mentioned. And this is all affecting your self-doubts, because what if you get a bad grade? What if I do this? What if I give a bad answer? So, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, so but like, so have you found specific tools, like, some people take solace in journaling, in therapy, in affirmations that actually worked for you, or or that can actually work in deterring these kind of feelings that we might feel at times. Personally, for me, I don't think I like therapy. I don't know why. I just don't. The whole construct of it, I don't like to sit down and be pouring my inner style to my own thoughts. I mean, to a complete stranger and expecting them to be able to cure all my problems. No, I don't like that. I think journaling for me and affirmations, for me, is something that I can actually be open to if I ever feel that way. I think when I felt that way, affirmations were actually, well, it worked quite well because, this is who you are. This, that, yes, you have someone that can remind you of your abilities, of your um of your potential. I think
Exactly.
my friend Emmanuel knows me. I think then when we finish exams, then what do I always do? I said, don't talk to me about what you wrote, or
Mm-hmm.
kind of questions you answer. I
Yeah.
hated that because it felt okay. Am I doubting what I wrote in the exam? No. So
Yeah.
when we come up from the exam hall and somebody's telling me,
Yeah.
I picked this as my answer. What did you pick? Maybe ask me that. So I told him and I said, like, it's not funny that we come out with the exam hall and you're telling me that you picked this and I picked that, and everybody's like trying to find out which one. So I want to do that.
Yeah.
They're not
Which
gonna
one
open the
is
textbook
correct?
to see which one is the correct answer. So in your mind, you're already discouraged already. So you're like, what kind of thing is this?
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand. So affirmations are things that actually work quite well. For those that want therapy, it is your prerogative. If you want to, if you feel like, okay, it's something that you're actually open to, why not? There's no bad.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Sorry to
So some
I
people
think,
actually journal. The journaling thing for me is actually, I don't actually, I'm not a big journal. I'm not someone that is big on journaling. But when I watch this series, The Vampire Diaries, like, those they write their so when you see, okay, that someone has written some things from 1950s, and they are trying to get a solution to an answer in the present 2020s. It's kind of, I know it's science fiction. I know it's fiction, but, like, it's kind of cool that, yeah, people write down that, what they're feeling at the particular time, and it could actually, be of help to another person in the nearest future. So yeah, I subscribe to that. So Said, you want to say something?
yeah, so you mentioned what tools and what solutions. I think humankind are not designed to go to, like in the evolution, we're not designed to go to a therapist and someone tell us what's wrong with us. I think we are designed to have a gathering and talk about our problems with each other. And it kind of gives us the better feeling, and we can solve the problem ourselves. I'm not fan of therapy as well. I think the best solution is socializing.
Yeah.
Exactly. Speak to
Thank
people,
you so much.
have a community.
Yeah, I've like my friend Chief of Lagos. He was here before, and he says when you have like trusted group of friends around you, that is greater that it's greater than anything any therapist can tell you. You have, reliable group of friends that you can count on, and they
Exactly.
are behind you. So it is much more better than any therapy. So, and those are the friends that you count on when in self doubt. Those are the friends that can lift you up when in denial, when you're feeling down. So, their words of affirmations can actually make you, feel much more better. Thank you so much. So for the final segment, I want to make it practice makes power because I want you guys to, so that I can round up. So I'll ask each of you one question each. Sorry. Um, So Saeed, how do you build self trust in small daily ways?
Sorry, can you please repeat the question?
I said, how do you build self trust in small but everyday ways, like something that you can do daily that can help you build your self trust, your make you feel more confident in yourself again.
Well, that's a good question. I think, first of all, you have to have a really good self awareness to know yourself, to know your disadvantages and advantages, to know
Yeah,
what you're good at and what you're not good at,
yeah,
to know your qualities, to know what skills you have or what skills you don't have. There
yeah,
are many tests that you can take part, and they tell you what sort of character you have. I mean, I'm not saying those ones are accurate, but that helps. That tells you what you can focus on what you cannot focus on. So helping the first thing I would say again, either in career or in your personal life, to try to understand yourself first.
mm,
And every day I try to know myself better than the day before, rather than exploring others. It's about myself. Because wherever you go and whatever you do, there you are. It's you doing that job or it's you having that conversation.
yeah. Is that all?
Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay. So for Emmanuel, so like no, sorry, Saeed, I still want to like so when we think about confidence, do you think it is something that you were born with or something that you build with from time to time?
I think that any confidence is a skill. I think you are you think you have lack of confidence, you can definitely improve it.
Oh, so it's something that you develop from time to time, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, thank you. So Emmanuel, I don't like to ask you tough questions. So, so,
Bring it on,
uh,
bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, bring it on.
so first of all, I want to ask the biggest thing that you've done that your past self would have thought that was impossible.
The boldest thing I have done that my past self would have thought that was
Maybe
impossible. Well, I've done quite a couple, but I think one of my standouts, probably because it changed the trajectory of my whole
mm,
whole career, would be walking up to my CFO in 2018 or 2019, walking up to this CFO because I wasn't in a financial role then. I was in technical sales. I
mm,
was an IT guy, and you know exactly what we, Bami, you know exactly what we studied in school. I knew nothing about
yeah,
IT, right? but that was the opening available at this job,
Yeah.
and I just took it, right? But I'd always had my love for numbers and all of that. I wanted to do something tailored to what I went to university for. And they had a vacancy in the finance department. The lady was relocating to Canada, and I knew they were going to be recruiting for a role. And I walked into the CFO's office, knocked. I'd never interacted with him before then, and I was like, I hear there is a vacancy, there's a procurement vacancy in the finance department. I think I'm a good fit for that role. And he laughed and said, have you ever done any finance role before today? I said, no, I haven't practiced yet. And he was like, so what makes you think so? And I said, well, I know that if you employ someone new, you will need to give them at least 2 to 3 months to be stable on the job for probation, right? How about instead of wasting your money recruiting somebody on a bumper salary, let me sit in the role for the same 3 months. And if I fumble probation, then you can kick me back to IT. All right. And he laughed and said, the only reason I'm going to give this opportunity is because you have balls of steel. And I took the opportunity and I did not fumble it. And it basically set a trajectory for what I'm doing today. So I think that has to rank as one of the ballsiest things I've done in my life in terms
Mm,
of trumping self doubt and taking and grabbing an opportunity. So yeah, that's that.
mm. So, so the same question, the last question I have for you, Abby, the same thing I asked him. So, how do you build self trust in small daily ways?
How do you build self trust in daily ways? I actually think
Yeah.
it starts with practice, tiny practices, just like speaking up in a meeting. You know how you're in a meeting and they say, do you have any
Mm,
questions? And maybe you have a very burning question. Maybe the question doesn't even pertain to what had been discussed in the meeting, but it's a bother to you.
yeah.
And you know fully well, if I raise my hand in this 30 man, 80 man, 271 people meeting, I'll probably get my answer. But you're like, well, maybe I don't need to speak up. Sometimes speaking up when you don't think it's necessary to speak up actually helps. Do you
Nah,
understand? Sorry, what?
I think, yeah, I think preparation also helps. I think you remember when we were in year one now, Abby, when we were in diploma at that time, and I was the governor of accountant, and anything we want to say, where's the governor? Answer the question. Like any question that nobody wants to answer. Okay, since nobody wants to answer the question, governor.
Governor, the governor answered.
Like, so,
Of course, of
so,
course.
then, so like then I always like, I always like if I go on it, just to study so that in case any person can answer this question, no, I'm able to find at least an answer.
An answer for it, yeah.
The so yeah. So for the final thought, do you guys have anything to add? I don't
Well,
know. I've never done it before. Do you have any questions for me?
no, I,
'Cause I'm not really
I
answer.
don't have I don't have any question for you. You are a trusted host, but my addition.
Emmanuel, is it there? I can't hear him.
I can't hear him as well.
Uh, yeah. I think his network is bad. So what about your side? Do you have anything to add?
I think the session it was a good, really really good session. Obviously, it was
Yeah.
very general. We can go and we can be more focused on certain things. But as someone, it was my first experience going to a podcast with someone because I had something, but it was with my close friends. So going with friends, but not really close friends, it was my experience, and it actually helped me to keep myself down. So thank you for that
Yeah.
experience, Paul.
No, yeah,
No,
you haven't opened it anytime. I think
I appreciate that.
I think yeah, I think for you haven't opened the next one we'll talk. I want to see you again next month actually. I have
Great,
some
amazing.
yeah. So
So thank
thank you
you.
so much. So I just want to just end the monologue so we can. So here's the thing about self doubt. Like everything we've discussed today, it's a sign that it's not a sign that you are failing. In fact, it often shows up right before something meaningful, something that stretches you, happens. So that voice in your head might feel like an enemy, but more often than not, it's just part of you that's scared and trying to keep you safe, which is understandable. But when you start listening differently, when you ask your inner critic, what are you afraid of? You turn that voice into a teacher, and when you meet it with compassion instead of resistance, it starts being the thing that holds you back and starts becoming the push you need that helps you move forward. I really want to thank Saeed and Emmanuel for taking our time out of the busy schedule. For you to get more episodes on this channel, you have to click the notification buttons to get latest episodes. You can follow us on all our platforms, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, at LifetalkpodwithBami, everywhere. Till we see you again next week. Thank you guys. Bye.